Hello and welcome to John Mason Coaching. I'm John Mason. I'd like to tell you a little story about a client of mine from a few years back, a friend named Anne. She was a client of mine from Canada, and we only had about 2 or 3 calls. Here's the problem for her. About 5 years before our talk, she had had a very stressful year. She had lost a loved one very close to her, and when she overcame the grief of that, she was not able to get back to her painting. By trade, she was a painter. It was her passion. She loved it. She had a beautiful studio set up with everything that she needed in it. The problem was she couldn't get back into the room. No matter how hard she tried, her emotions would keep her from going there. She told me that she had seen a psychologist for 4 of those 5 years, one of the best psychologists in her area, and no matter what they did, she couldn't get through this obstacle. She tried and tried. It was stressful for her. She really wanted to get back to her painting. So I asked her, what's in the way? What gets in the way between you and that room? She said it was a huge wall. That wall was 30 to 50 feet high, 10 or more feet thick. It went down into the ground. There's no way to come dig under it. And I said, what about to the left or the right? Can go around it? She said, no, it went farther than the eye could see in either direction. There was no way to get around this wall. She spoke about the wall at length, described it, shared her emotions, her passions for a few minutes. And then there was a pause. And I asked her, what's the smallest step that you could take to get through or over that wall? It surprised her how quickly she answered. It surprised me too, because I had hardly even finished the question, and she said, I could lay out the tarp. I said, great. I said, I request that you take that as an assignment. Is it okay for that to be, or sometime between now and our next visit, just sometime between now and then, you lay out the tarp? When do you think you could do that? She says, well, probably after we hang up from our call. I said, great. After our call, then just go lay the tarp down. That's all you need to do, nothing more. She said, good. She felt the energy sounded really good. A week went by. We had our next call. I said, how did it go? I'm really curious. She said, well, I went in to my studio, laid down the tarp, and automatically I just started working with my paints, got them ready, and I started painting. And she said, for the last 7 days, I painted 5 of those 7 days. You could feel the energy in her voice. The wall was gone. I said, what happened to the wall? She said, I don't know. It's just not there anymore. One simple question. It's a question since then I've asked hundreds of people, including myself, every day. What's the smallest step you could take today that would move you toward your goal? Sometimes I give them a time limit, like by 5 p.m. or 9 p.m. Now, every one of those who have responded to that question with action have had powerful breakthroughs very similar to Anne's. Several, a pretty high percentage, in my opinion, sometimes 30 to 50% of the people will not even do the smallest thing. That tells me they're not committed to their goal. Something else is in the way. Maybe they're not passionate enough about it. Now, I've noticed with myself as I have asked that question, and I've taken the time to actually take those steps or do that one small thing, I've had progress that's truly amazed me. The other day I was cleaning out the files on my computer and I came upon a file where I had listed a few goals that I had made about 2 or 3 months ago. And I looked at those goals, and I remember when I wrote those goals, they seemed huge. A couple of them I wasn't sure if I would be able to do even before the end of the year. But I realized they were all done. They were done very shortly after I wrote them, but all because I did a little bit of something every day towards the goal until they were done. And I realized, wow, I've moved on to some much different goals since then. I thought at least one of them I wouldn't be able to do it before the end of the year, and it's all done. So I'm giving you the same question. What's the smallest step you could take today that would move you toward your goal? And what if one of those steps might involve getting some help, such as by a coach? And what if that step was free? What would hold you back from taking that step? What do you even have to lose? It's up to you, but at the very least, what's the answer to the question? What's the smallest step you could take today that would move you towards your goal? Now, if you can't answer that question, it's really possible that you don't even really know what your goal is. Maybe it's not clear enough. That's pretty common. Clarity is power. So I would like to remove all of your excuses. You have the opportunity to give me a call, 970-639-8630, or email me at john@johnmasoncoach.com and set up a time to get started. It's one small step at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I'm John Mason. This is John Mason Coaching. I am challenging you and hoping for you the best in movement toward manifesting your goal.